here with Zach Doyle. Zach, why don't you go ahead and tell us what you do?
Sure. I own a Signature Insurance Group here in town, an independent insurance agency.
Since everyone's going to ask, what's the difference between a captive agent and an independent agent, Zach?
So a captive agent is you pretty much just have one carrier to shop the insurance with, and then if you're an independent, you have multiple carriers that you can shop it around with for the client. In most cases.
Which one's better?
In my opinion, independent is better because it gives your client more options. But each individual carrier, whether it be captive or independent, has their purpose and is good for certain people. It's not a one size fits all. It's you could be a captive agent could be a lot better for this certain person, but an independent agent is better for this person. So
basically, shelter insurance is the best that's out there.
Yeah, I've got to ask, is it strange being friends with direct competition?
It's strange being friends with Maddie, period. Sorry, answer your question.
No,
Obviously.
I mean, I like competition, but
Are we competing?
There's enough people out there, enough clients out there for everybody. There's enough pie to go around. Let's put it that way. So whether that be real estate, insurance, whatever.
My favorite are agents who have this mindset. Not every agent does. I'm not just putting that out there. And so my favorites are the ones like Zach who realize that. Because then you're also like, if I'm not the right fit for someone, I'm able to be like, maybe he is.
And it's also, it's not always about price. When people shop around and stuff, they want to go price, because that's the easiest thing to compare something to. But the way I look at it, my job is to be an advisor, to give you the best advice possible. Sorry, I can't talk today. Maybe it was the bourbon. But give you the best advice possible, and then you use that to make the best decision possible. If I can give you the best coverages, but you're paying a little more because that's what best provides you the best coverage, then that's what's best for you, in my opinion.
I think if you always approach your business as a client first mentality, then it kind of takes the whole catty competition out anyway. Like we can all truly get along and be friends, even though it is such a competitive industry.
Absolutely. And there's some stuff that I won't be able to do that Shelter or Allstate or State Farm or somewhere like that can do. And so I've sent business to those three companies before, and those three companies have sent business to me before. So it's that's just the way it goes.
To me, that's a true service too. Like you're not after that client just for their money and like what they can do for you. You're literally there providing them a service and helping them the best way. Even if maybe you don't have the solutions, providing a connection that may have the solutions. It's just putting them first that's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had clients call me before that's been with another independent agent and was shopping around because they received a letter in the mail or whatever. And I found out who they were with, and I said, honestly, why are you shopping? He's like, well, it's, I got this renewal and it went up $50 or whatever. And I'm like, well, you're with an independent agent right now. They have pretty much the same carriers that I have. So my advice is, if you don't have a problem or a bad experience with your agent, then give them a call and let them shop it for you, because they already have your stuff. You have a good relationship with them. Don't just leave them because of the price.
Yeah.
Agents like that are my favorite.
And so I actually reached out to his agent and told him, and he reached out to him and obviously kept the client, and he thanked me for it. But not everybody does that, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, because I'm far from that. But
So glad a man can admit that.
We saw you spill the bourbon.
So tell us your origin story. Like how'd I get into insurance?
How did
you get into insurance?
Sure.
What'd you do before insurance?
I was in banking. I worked at Chase Bank. So I went to college for finance. I worked at Chase Bank as a teller, and then wanted to go the financial advising route after college. And so I graduated college and was trying to transition into that role and became a banker. But I was wanting to do outside activities like investment properties, and I bought in with a group of guys on a syndicate with a racehorse and some other things like that. And anytime you wanted to do something like that, you had to fill out what they call like a U4 form or whatever that form is to do outside businesses. And I learned pretty quickly, I was like, too many regulations for me. Like, I don't want all this stuff, with people's retirements, and if I want to do any kind of outside business. So a friend of mine at the time, still a friend of mine, Brian Elkins, was opening an Allstate agency and from scratch. And yeah, shout out to Brian there. And he was like, hey man, I'm just opening this new agency. I need somebody that knows a lot of people, that's good at sales, to come help me or to, kick this off the ground. And he said, it's a lot like financial advising. You build your book of business, you get paid residuals. It's pretty the same concept as financial advising. You're just not dealing with people's retirement accounts, and insurance is a necessity. If you drive a car or you own a house, and you pretty much have to have insurance on it. Most of the time.
You would think. We're in Kentucky.
You would think. We are in Kentucky. So, I jumped ship, and that's kind of how I got into insurance. That was a little over 8.5 years ago, and I've loved every minute of it. Most minutes of it, anyway.
This is not on our list at all. It's just off the top of my head. What do you think it takes to be good at sales?
Well, they say to be good at sales, and as far as...
No. What does Zach say?
Oh, what does Zach say?
I'm not interviewing they.
I think you have to be very personable, obviously, but, the bad thing about people talk about sales, especially the people that get bad reps, you go car salesmen or people like that. So I think honesty is one of the main characters when it comes to sales. But you also got to be able to listen to the client, and then figure out what their needs are, and then find the solution for those needs. Because if you find out what their needs are, and you have the solution for that, why wouldn't they buy it from you?
Exactly. Yep.
Something that my district sales leader, second shout out of the night, Mike Kennedy, taught me is also to think about what are they not asking, and what do they need that they don't know that they need.
Yeah, that's a good.
That helped me.
Yeah, I never thought it that way.
Your whole just taught the
Oh,
big
I-
dog
ooh,
something.
She taught me something.
Chihuahua in the house.
I saw a quote somewhere that said that the true, sales is actually derivative from a pro-Germanic word that means to give. So if people focus on what solutions they are offering, I think that is true sales. And somewhere along the way, it's gotten twisted, and you, like you said, you picture the sleazy, greasy used car salesman that just wants to take something from you.
Right, and I've had clients, I've actually turned away clients. I'm like, look, I'm trying to sell you this is what you need. Well, I just want the state minimums coverages, I want the cheapest thing you've got. And I'm like, well, it sounds like we're not a good fit for each other, so
Get on with Progressive. I'm kidding, that was terrible. I didn't say that.
Sorry, Progressive.
I'll say
Don't come at us.
Dairy Lynn.
Oh.
In the words of Crystal Geist, shout out to what you just said. She said that her dad taught her growing up, be a part of the solution instead of the problem, and I like that. That's my new mindset.
Yep.
That's a good mindset for sure. And
Thank you, Crystal.
Great. Crystal's great.
Well, part of the reason why I ended up here at Lifestyle National too is they preach relationship over transaction.
Absolutely.
And I think it's really easy, especially when you get stuck in the hustle and you're trying to meet your numbers and you're trying to make this sale.
We have to meet numbers?
Yes. You gotta put food on the table, okay?
Around. Shoot, I just make Facebook videos.
Right. Realtor. It's hard to stay focused on the end game, and that's the human element in it.
Sure.
We are working with a person, and how we advise them directly affects their life. And
Sure.
just keeping that in mind, it kind of everything else is easy and it falls into place. And we talked about this with one of our other interviews earlier. If you take care of people, it always comes back to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in that. You take care of somebody, and not only will it come back around, but they will send you business.
Yeah.
It'll lead to referrals and more business, and just doing the right thing in general as well. And the big thing in the insurance, in everything, is just educating people too. So everybody that calls in, they'll send me a deck page. I'm like, okay, or they won't send me a deck page. I'm like, all right, well, what's your bodily injury limits? What's your deductibles? They're like, what's that?
They don't want to give you that deck page, and I'm like, why?
Right, and it's. So it's just educating them. So once you explain what those limits mean and what the consequences of not having those limits or the consequences of not having that coverage are, they're like, oh man, I didn't even know I didn't have that, or I didn't even know what that meant. So it's just part of it. You educate the clients. I meant to bring you guys that book.
What book?
You have a book?
I wrote a book on that.
You wrote a
And I
book?
You're an
forgot it.
author?
No, I'm not an author.
But you wrote a book.
I did.
So that makes you an author.
No.
What does that mean?
Sure. Kinda.
English isn't my strong suit.
Did you just dabble in it?
No, so like, yeah, basically, I was getting these phone calls all the time about, why is my insurance, my neighbor drives the exact same car as I do. Why is my insurance $150 a month and theirs is $100 a month? I'm like, well, there's 1,000 different factors, whether it be your credit, whether it be your insurance history, your claims history, driver's history, blah, 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 blah. And so like, I was doing that frequently, and I was like, I want to do something to kind of tell people about this. And so I wrote a book on like how companies rate auto insurance and home insurance rates, and like certain tips to try to improve your rates and things like that.
I would like a copy of this.
And so I've got it. I meant to bring it, and I totally left. Totally.
I would love to pass it out to clients.
And I've actually got an e-version on my website as well, so you can go on there and download the e-version of it.
Good to know.
Just like scribble out Zach Doyle and write
And
Maddie
just
Styles.
Maddie
Just like Maddie Styles on it.
Miranda Lambert.
Miranda.
Yeah, can I get this autograph on that? That would be nice.
That has never happened, but the people saying like you look like her do. One day it's gonna happen. I'm just gonna be like, sure.
That's what
So
you
she
should
needs
do.
to charging like
You should-
$5. $5.
Yeah. Take a little, like the little snap pictures where it prints it out, and then you just sign it.
Are you talking about
Ooh,
like the
the-
Polaroids?
Yeah, like
Polaroid.
a little
I have
I
a
couldn't
Polaroid
think of
camera.
See?
I think that it's cool. You guys used to have to take pictures that way.
Listen, she's been practicing. You guys.
Yeah, I know, right?
What does that mean?
I mean, we didn't have Polaroids.
Am I the oldest person in this room?
I don't know, how old are you?
34.
Oh,
Yeah, you are.
You are.
By a lot.
I know.
Sorry, that was mean.
That's all right.
I'm such a stinker.
That's all right.
With age comes wisdom. It's fine.
Not always.
I feel 50 sometimes.
There are some interesting old people out there. I don't know if age equates to wisdom. What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you?
Well,
Not where I thought that was going.
I don't know how to answer that on television. Or
Well,
on camera.
what's the third embarrassing
It's okay. This
thing?
isn't television yet.
Come out.
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. That is. I really don't know this question. Answer this question.
Being born was up there for me.
Ooh.
I didn't get. When I was a kid, I got picked last and kicked. No, I'm just
I could
kidding.
see that. I could see that.
Yeah, from that moment on, no. I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that
Well,
question.
I can answer that.
Okay. Well,
I
are we
was
interviewing
in.
you? No.
It was my 5th grade years, and in 5th grade in Harrodsburg, that's middle school. That's your first year in middle school. So it was first day, 5th grade, cafeteria. I got my tray of food, and I'm like walking out. And, it's awkward anyway because you don't know anybody. You don't know where to sit.
I've never met a stranger.
It's terrorizing. I think that's the right word.
Yeah.
Traumatizing
There
is
you
probably
go.
the better word. I slip and fall. I slip and fall. My tray goes everywhere. I fall flat on my ass, and of course, everybody in the cafeteria is like,
Laughs.
"Oh, yeah." So yeah, I'm the girl that fell on a puddle of milk in 5th grade.
And a few weeks ago, as an adult,
Wait, what happened? Wait, watch it. Watch your mouth. What are you about to say?
she stood up at a coffee shop and sprained her ankle.
I really did. Okay, that threshold of old age is 30, guys. Everything starts falling apart at 30.
Yeah.
In case you're wondering.
I can attest to that.
So we didn't get the most embarrassing.
sprained my
That's
ankle.
fine.
But anywho,
Yeah, I don't.
Mine is I ripped my pants filming a podcast with a tortilla in my pocket. Oh, and then I spit on the guest.
you did spit on her.
Spit on the gas.
No big deal.
Sorry.
All
She
this
was a
happened in
little
5
hot.
seconds.
I was like, let me cool you down.
Okay, so if you could go back in time to little baby Zach, what is one piece of advice you would tell him?
The one who didn't get picked in kickball.
Give him advice. Never give up, and meet as many people as you can. I know those kind of don't go hand in hand, but the more people you know, it just helps out. But the biggest thing is never give up either. I just finished reading a book called 3 Feet from Gold by Napoleon Hill, that series and all that, like Think and Grow Rich. But basically the gist of the story is, you're going through a rough patch, and these guys went out west to dig up gold, and they came up with gold, but then it eventually ran out, and so they gave up and sold it off and did all this, and they sold it to a guy that did his research and hired somebody to come in, and evidently gold grows like this instead of like this, and so literally they were 3 feet from the main vein, and they came in and dug it up and got all kinds of gold. So basically gist of the story is never give up.
Oh, I'd be pissed.
So, and there's a lot more behind of that book, but that's the gist of it.
So if you follow people who have given up, you will find success.
Well, well,
Maybe.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with failure. That's, you
Yep.
know, the person that Edison that did the light bulb, you know, he just figured out 1,100 ways not to invent a light bulb.
It's kind of been the theme of the night too.
Just never give up.
Is never give up and to not be afraid of failure, because failure, if you just change your mindset on failure, it's actually just a lesson.
Yeah.
And if you think of it that way, it's a win-win. So you can't fail. If everything's a win-win, you can't fail.
That's true, but in what we do, if you don't sell, there's no food on your table, the lights may not stay on. So
Listen, I'm
some
still
problems
alive.
happen. So how do you deal with that? Because I get so mad on days, like I posted on Facebook last week. I asked 40 people if I could quote them. 35 people told me no. I was like, do I smell today? Is there something on my face? Does it just say crush me? Like, how do you deal with that? Because I throw a pity party, get some Oreos, and go back to business.
I drink bourbon. I don't know about you.
spill
but
bourbon.
No. You just kind of go on and, you know, say reset, and tomorrow's another day. You know, you're going to have that. A good analogy that I've always been told, you know, from people in the insurance industry is like, you know, it's like standing in the ocean with like water up to your knees. And like, so you're sitting there and you're putting in all this work, and like, you think you're not getting anywhere, and then all of a sudden that wave just comes behind you and hits you in the ass and knocks you down. And because all the stuff, all the hard work that you've been putting in and all the prospects that you've been prospecting, finally they start coming through, and you've been building up this wave, and it finally just hits you in the ass and knocks you down. And then it happens again to where you're doing all that work again, and it looks like it's not paying off, and then it finally comes back through again. So just...
I could use a wave right now. If you know what I'm saying.
Amen, sister.
It's been a little bit of a rough week.
Yeah,
So-
we talk about this all the time amongst ourselves, that delayed gratification, and how it's really, really hard to keep your mindset right when you don't see the end results like immediately. But yeah.
I go through like 10 emotions a day. I'm like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
awesome, I'm amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible, I'm not gonna make it. This is the worst career ever.
Right, and you
I made a
know,
horrible choice.
and I was always bad about that too, as far as the delayed gratification. You know, I was like, man, I want this new car now, I want this house now, I want this watch, I want this, I want that. But now that you own a business, it's like, you've got to do that, because if you start buying cars, buying houses, then like you said, you're like, how do I pay the electric bill?
Right.
You know,
yeah.
oh, the internet just went out. Oh, I didn't pay that. Sorry, you need the internet for the, you know, that didn't happen, but I'm just saying, you know.
That has happened to me, actually, yeah. It was a good learning
It
moment.
actually happened one to me because our debit card expired, so like, I was like, oh, we got to update that.
Oh,
So-
shoot.
I actually
Lessons.
bummed the Wi-Fi off of Kentucky Farm Bureau's office next to mine for a whole day. They had this guest option, and I was like, fantastic, this is a tomorrow problem to fix.
Use your phone as a hotspot.
I did tell them last week, by the way. They thought it was somewhat funny.
But maybe don't do it again.
That was the mess. That was the conversation, the heart to heart that we had. They were like, we love that you did what you had to do, but don't do it again.
So, what do you want your legacy to be? Like, after you're
Because you got a
gone-
bun in the oven. Well, not you, but.
Right, you are growing a child. It is you.
Not you. You have no buns in the
Wait,
oven.
are people supposed to know that? Have you announced it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, never mind. Carry on.
Sorry.
My legacy.
For the little
I would
totter.
just, I don't know. I would just like to think that people would think of me as I'm trying to figure out the best way to put this.
What do you want people to say about you when you're not in the room? Somebody asked me that the other day, and I was like, ooh, that's spicy.
That is spicy.
Yeah.
I mean, that I'm a genuine guy, and like I actually do care. You know, and I think that's big in our industry, because like, you know, there's so many people out there that just want to make that sale, and they're like, just to get it out, you know, get it over with and make the sale. But it's like, well, if their house burns down, do they have coverage for it? You know, or if they're in a car wreck, you know, are they covered? So like, you know, basically just do the right thing. So yeah, I mean, I guess just that I'm an honest person, and I'm hopefully likable.
A man of integrity.
You know,
50-50. You know.
so 50-50, depends on who you talk to.
I'm
but-
kidding. That's so mean.